Hello, everybody. Good evening. How are you all today? I'm so glad to be back and so glad to be talking to you all. Today, we are going to be in touch with Dr. Mona Gujral, who is the author of the best selling book, How to Raise a Mindful Parent. She's also a life coach, and she's going to share with us some tips about how we can manage our children effectively during this difficult time, and also the stress and anxiety that children are facing these days. So let's get in touch with her quickly. She's already sent a request, so I'm just going to add her. Okay, I think she's here. Hi, Mona, how are you?
Hi Kavita, good evening. How are you doing?
Very good evening to you. Yes, we are all doing great. And how are you doing?
Very well. Thank you so much. Great in this lockdown.
I know, I know. And Mona, I was just introducing you as the author of the best-selling book, Raising a Mindful Parent, and also the fact that you are a life coach, and the fact that you're going to share us some good tips about how to manage our children effectively during this time.
Yes.
So, can we get started? Would you like to say something about your book first?
Yes, please. Thank you. So this is my book.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Whoever is watching, a very good evening to everyone and hope you all are doing great. So this is the book which Kavita was talking about. This is my book on parenting, Raising a Mindful Parent. And this book is a amalgamation of spirituality and mindfulness with the practices of parenting. How we can, get spirituality and mindfulness involved with the parenting practices. And
Okay.
this is the need of the hour, as you know, the times are changing so fast, and we are facing so many difficult situations and so much of anxiety, where we do
True.
need some mindfulness and spirituality in our daily lives.
Wonderful. So, Mona, we have a lot of questions, and I'm sure that our viewers are also going to come up with a lot more questions as we proceed ahead. So, as adults, we have kind of tackled the situation. We have also managed to kind of pull through, and of course, we have our own insecurities. But how do we manage the children? They're not able to express what they're actually feeling. A lot of them have all these emotions bottled up inside. They cannot meet their friends. It's a lot more screen time, online classes. And practically, for them, their life is just about, staying in the house, and that's about it. So, what are your thoughts on that?
So, like the children are managing so many things, and we as parents also, we are managing so many things. Our work front, we are managing the household chores, and so many other things we are, doing. So, what I would suggest that if we do not manage the children, we should not manage the children at this time. Let them be on their own. So with that I mean, because they are in a safe environment of their house, with the children, all the time the parents are in the supervision of children. The children are in the supervision of parents. Parents are always there, so they are not nothing is going to happen which untoward is going to happen to the child. So it would be a very good idea if we just let the children be, make a list of work for them, tell them you have to do this during the day. You can also have your own office work done by that time, and the children will also be, make them independent. So this is a very good time to make them independent also, make in all the various fields. So it can be doing their homework on time, doing their homework themselves, or helping the parents in some of the household chores that is happening. So let the children be independent, and they are under their supervision. The only flip side is probably when they are doing their work on their own. So
Exactly.
they will increase the workload on for you. Probably they'll do something wrong. So if the homework, they're doing the homework themselves, probably their homework will, something will go wrong, and you have to correct it again.
Right.
But at
Right.
least the child tried. At least the child tried. You gave them so much of space to try it on their own. So they will gain experience from this, a lot of experience. So if the child wants to take up a hobby, probably a baking or something, the child is making cookies and the cookies burned. So the child will come up with the experience that, okay, the temperature of the oven was very high, so I should, next time it should be at an optimum temperature. So the children will learn so many things from this. The only flip side is probably, yes, the work of the parent will increase, but then yes, we can tell the child to help us with the cleaning and everything after that. But I mean, just let them be independent. Just let them be on their own. Do not try to micromanage the children. Because as it is, the children are not used to, they go to the school, so they have around 6 hours away from the parents. And now 24/7, they are with the parents. So there is too much of parenting also happening. So just let them be on their own. By the time the parents can do their own chores, their own household work, their office work, and the children can do their stuff.
Yes, Mona, that's a great tip. And probably, we all are actually getting into micromanagement, as you said, because we are now used to them being around. So we want to see what they're doing, whether they're doing their work properly. So that independence will obviously help them a lot. But talking about screen time, Mona, so there is a lot of inappropriate content also floating around these days, right? So we will not take any names as such, but a lot of times these children are watching stuff which they are probably not allowed to watch, or something which could subconsciously trigger off something, in their mind, and it could cause maybe depression or cause them to take some extreme steps. So how do we deal with that? Is there any particular sign that we should watch out for? One of our viewers has also asked this question, especially for children under the age of 10. How do we control that?
Right. So the first thing is you said to watch out. The first thing would be, just to watch out if the child is having some behavior which is out of the ordinary for the child. If the child is probably too much into himself, if the child is withdrawn, or if the child is like too open. I mean, earlier the child was a little docile, but now the child is like too outgoing, and there's some kind of out of the line behavior for the children. So keep an eye for that. And this is to detect that something is going on with the child. And the other thing is, I cannot stress enough, is the communication. Communication between a parent and a child has to be like really, really, really strong. So you have to communicate with your children. Educate your children first. What are the perils of the online community? I mean, what all they can encounter. Tell your children what is happening, and then talk to them what they are seeing. What they are watching. Just generally, do not interrogate them, but just by the way of I watched this today. What did you watch online? I was doing this online. What were you doing? So in that way, in a conversation kind of a way, try to get it out of the child. And screen time, what you said, this is what I do it with my children also. So I think it would be very good if the parents can invest in a casting device. Something which casts the content of your handheld device onto the TV. So that has multiple benefits. Number one would be that the harmful effects of the screen, like the radiation which is absorbed from all these handheld devices. So because the TV screen will be at least 5 feet apart from the child. So the radiations are not absorbed so much into the body of the child. The eyes are not that much affected. And in case of this inappropriate content also, when the content is on a big screen, as opposed to a 5-inch screen, which is very near to the child. So if the content is on a very big screen, the child will be actually very cautious of watching any inappropriate stuff. And this one will come in. So they will be very cautious of watching anything if it turns up. And the second thing, educate the child. You have to talk to the child and educate the children about all the dangers which are happening outside. Educate them not to share their personal information, share their photographs with anyone, which is happening, and also tell them about. And there are many viewing restrictions. What we can do, the parents can do many restrictions also for the children. So that could be.
I think that's a very, very helpful point that you have made, that we should probably connect the device to the screen so that we can monitor what they're watching. And secondly, it helps save the radiation from affecting their eyes as well. And as you said, maybe, we will have to build them on into the conversation as friends and say that, I trust you, and, how was your day? This is what I did. I think that really helps, bringing them out in this way. So there's another question, which has been raised again by one of our viewers. Basically, see, right now we are trying to be the good parents, most of us at least. We feel that they are deprived of their social life, school, and a lot of other hobbies and activities that they were doing earlier. So even if the child is, say, acting a little erratic or a little bit out of way, we end up shouting at them, and then we feel that why did we shout at them? The child is already dealing with so much. Now on top of that, we've also screamed at them. So there's this guilt which is coming in. So how do we control that, or how do we manage this situation?
Right. So, Kavita, parenting is a very hard job. And at every point, every parent has some or the other guilt. Something, probably not spending enough time with your children, or probably not spending enough money on your children, getting the gifts that they want. So we all have different guilts in every point in our parenting journey. So, but this we have to realize that this situation that we are in right now, it is going to be the new normal for probably another year or so. So we
Right.
cannot let children take advantage of this kind of situation. So if the children are seeing something, and we, being a good parent, we say yes to everything to the whatever the child is saying. So that can also go wrong at times. So we have to
Right.
draw the boundary. And saying no to the child, please say no to your child, but only no, that is a big no. So, you have to back your no with a logical proof, logical reason. You have to tell your children, that I do not want you to do this because it will cause so and so problem. Because I think this is the problem which is happening. So, in case of too much of screen time, for example, you can tell your child that, yeah, I do not want you to watch too much of screen time because it is going to affect your eyesight. It is going to affect your. You back your answer with a logical reason. The children will understand. So, this is one how to handle the children. How to handle your guilt?
Yes,
That's
our own
absolutely.
guilt. Hmm.
How to handle your guilt? It is absolutely normal. Whatever we are saying no to the child, I mean, we are also humans, and whatever we are doing for our children, I mean, it is the best at that particular time. It is the best at that particular time. Whatever decision we are taking, whether it is a no or a yes for the child, but we know we are taking it in the best interest of our children. So just be with that thought, and the guilt.
So we
We
should
are
not
also
go and apologize to them for having screamed at them or having lost out our temper. Is that what you're saying?
definitely. Definitely, you have to. If you, I mean, screaming at a child is, it's not going to solve anything for them. So, if your child, if you lost your temper, that is your problem, not the child's problem. The child was demanding something, right? That is the problem. If the parent is losing their control on and shouting, so that is the problem of the parent, not the child. The child just demanded something, or child just stated something that I want this to happen. We lost our control, right? So it is
Hmm.
not the child which said something. We lost our control. So this is my problem. I lost my control over my child, and I shouted at the child. So yes, when you are in the logical step would be that if your child says asks you something, and you have to say no, or you are about to shout, take a pause and take a step back. Do not react. Shouting is a kind of a reaction to the child. Do not react on the child. Take a pause. Take a time out yourself. Do not ask the child to take a time out. Take a time out yourself, and then gather your thoughts, calm yourself, center yourself, and then go and talk to the child. You were saying like this. I probably did not like it, why it is happening. Just whatever the situation is, then you address the situation.
Hmm.
So
Makes a
instead
lot
of
of sense.
always
It's just that I hope we are able to remain that patient because at the spur of the moment, we just go with what we are feeling. And the other thing, Mona, which I would like to point out.
mindfulness. Sorry, I said this is where mindfulness comes in. This is where the raising yourself as a mindful parent comes in.
Right, absolutely. And these days, most of us are without any household help. whatsoever. So we are also indulging in a lot of, quick fix, easy meals. And we are also probably giving our children more than their dose of junk food, what they used to be allowed earlier. Or probably we think this is the only way to pamper them. We cannot, give them anything. We cannot take them out to the malls or entertainment parks. So probably this is the only way to gratify them by giving them what they like to eat. That's also causing a lot of obesity, weight issues, disturbed sleep pattern amongst the children. So anything that you would like to add to that?
So what for this, I would like to add, what I normally suggest people is make a list of chores for your child, that the child has to perform these things in a day. And then incentivize the child, like probably if the child made their bed, give them 50 points. If the child watered the plants, give them about 100 points for that. And at the end of the day, calculate those points, right? So these points are the only points that the children can redeem for a junk food, or probably screen time, or a chocolate, or an ice cream, whatever they want. So the child will have, that would be the only points that the child can have. And the ice cream would be rated as around 200 points, or a packet of chips would be like 500 points. So do it accordingly how you want to do it with your children. It could be 10 points or 100 points. So when you do like that, the children will have a limited amount of money, to so-called money, to buy the junk food. So that is, you have to tell the child, you have only these many points, and you have to buy things from this point. 1 point. Next is, if you say ki we are giving our children so much. So again, as I said, that this is going to be the new normal for probably an year. So we have to understand that we cannot give the children junk. Till the time a vaccine comes up and everything is going to happen.
Absolutely,
this
yes.
This is going to be like that. So we cannot give in to the every whims and fancies of the children. So we have to tell them, we have to explain it to them why we are saying no, why I do not want to have an ice cream every day. So, you are not going for any physical exercise. So you are going to have a lot of weight issues and a lot of health issues on that. So we have to explain it to the child. And the third point would be, if you do not want your child to have anything, do not get it. Do not in the house. Do not get it in your groceries. So if it is not there, ice cream is not there, and you're kept in your fridge, you will not have the temptation to go and have an ice cream, every now and then. So these are probably some of the things that we can manage the eating pattern of the children with.
Right. So there has been another question from our viewers, and in fact, another question is also in line with what she asked previously. So this can apply very well to children, say, who are of a particular age group, probably below 10. It's much more easier to maybe control them to an extent and explain these things. How about teenagers? They are not the ones, who share their thoughts so easily. And now with this whole situation, they've even more gone into their shell rather than speaking out. How do we speak to them? How do we connect with them? How do we even pin them down for a discussion or explain all these things to them? Anything that you would like to say to help us out?
So for teenagers also, the communication, which I said, communication is one of the very important pillars of parenting. So communication plays a very big part in this situation also. And I would like to say, try and talking to the teenagers. If the children are not talking, make ways to talk to them. It cannot be a direct interrogation kind of a thing. It has to be, you have to beat around the bush and, come to the point what you are planning to talk to the child. And the other thing is, get the children involved in whatever is happening in the house. Get your children, whether they're teenagers, involved in the house. Ask them that, this is the food menu that I'm planning for the whole week. What are your suggestions? Okay, what would you like to eat? Would you like to eat this? Or would you like to eat, probably if I can add something, why don't you give me your suggestions? Ask them that way. Talk to them on topics about, the global situation that is happening. Just ask them what they think, can happen. How they feel that, we as a family can come out of the situation, how we as a family should, and in case probably you're facing some, talk to your children. The problem with the teenagers comes is, we think they're too small and they think they're too big to, they are not asked. So the best thing is invite them in all your, invite their opinion in everything that is happening in the house. There should not be anything very secretive from children when they reach the teenager. They should be like friends. So we should talk to the children as we are talking to our friends. We are having this problem. What is your suggestion in this? So if we include them, if they feel included, definitely, open up. That
But
is the
what if they are not participative, Mona? If they are not willing to even talk, or there is this slight gap, how do we bridge that gap?
So there has to be, something which would have happened in the past. So for the child to become this way. So we have to analyze, introspect how we as a parent, did something to the child that the child went into the shell. So thinking about that, so this is a lot of work. Parenting is a lot of work for the parent also. So thinking about that, whatever situation happened, so now work around the situation. If you think you were wrong in some way, or probably you have been saying no to your child everywhere, go and talk to your child as a parent and just ask your child, I'm very sorry. I feel that, you are not talking to me. Have I done anything to you? Have I said anything that, you did not feel good? I mean, there's nothing wrong in apologizing to your child. Just go and talk to your child. That I feel as a child, you used to come and share so many things with me. But now I see you are not, you are not sharing things with me. So is it that something I have told you that you are feeling bad? So how can I help you? How can I, be a friend to you? I want to change our relationship. I do not want to lose my friend. As when you were below 10 years, you were a very good friend to me. I used to share so many things with you. But now I see the gap coming. So how can I help you? How can you help me? How can we strengthen this bond? So talk to the child that way. I mean, it would not happen probably, if there is something the child has actually taken it inside. It will not happen in the first attempt. So you have to go repeatedly, go and talk to the child in this way. So at least 4, 5, 6 times, probably the child will open up a little bit.
Okay, so you think this will help? Say normally a child is, kind of normal to talk to, is friendly, is open, but in this entire lockdown scenario, the child has suddenly become like that. So you are probably suggesting that we should try bridging the gap by prodding the child again and again, right?
Yes, I'll give you my example. So we think that, the children know what the whole corona situation is happening. We think the children know everything. And
Right.
we never sat and had a discussion or a conversation with them that, this is happening. You have any questions? So probably I never had it. I thought the children know everything. So just when the lockdown opened up a little bit, so I wanted to go out to buy some essential groceries and some medicines. And my little one, who is 8-year-old, she just panicked. She just panicked so much, and she started crying. Mom, don't go out. I said, why? What happened? She's like, the corona will come and catch you. The corona. So what? So then I had to, I mean, she was very paranoid. So then I actually sat down and I asked her, what do you mean by that? Do you know what is happening? So she had an idea, probably corona is some monster roaming around on the roads and, catching people. So she had something like that in her mind. So then I had to explain her, this is the virus. This is what precautions I am taking. This is what the government has told that, health officials have told we should do. So this is what I'm taking. I'm taking all precautions. I will go and I will come back safe and sound. So, I mean, she had that in her mind. She had that thing in her mind. And but so same way, in the lockdown, so many children have so many notions in their mind happening that probably there are a lot of uncertainty which the child faces, that when the schools are going to open, when we are going to meet our friends, when we are going to step out of the house. So sit and talk to your child. This is whatever questions, ask the child if you have any questions, So what do you think if the school opens up? Start it as a conversation. Start it from your own example that, I'm missing my office a lot. I really want to go out. I don't know how to do it. Start with that example. So the children will also come up with what problems they are facing slowly. So, but we have to start the conversation, and conversation is the only thing, communication with the children is the only thing which will actually get that problems out from the children.
Right, right. Mona, there's another very important question that we would like to ask. See, a lot of children are very creative, in different ways. Some are into music and some are into dance. And these are mainly activities, which can be done physically, not online. These kind of classes don't really help in bringing out the child's creativity. And they seem to be missing out on a lot of things right now. So how do we engage this creative bit in children right now? And how do we keep it alive?
That is a challenge. I mean, so this is, I think, the best we can do as a parent is just enroll them for classes, or get them some you have these programs, the CDs which teach your children dance and all. But I think better than that would be enrolling them where at least the teacher is watching them what they're doing on a Zoom call. So this is at this point. Otherwise, if the parent if the hobby of the parent and the child matches, right? So
Mhm.
probably if
Mhm.
I paint and my child also wants to paint, then probably yes, I can teach my child what is the best way to paint. How uh, I mean, I can help the child with the painting. Other than that, I think, or you can ask your child for some other. I've asked the child for some other interest or an activity or a hobby that we can do at this time. Because physically, yes. Otherwise, other than the Zoom call, I don't think we have any other option at this time, and probably for some time to come. But then,
Right.
yes, I think ask them for some other hobby that which they can do at this time. So probably if they were a lot into dancing, now they can choose another hobby. Ask them to develop another second hobby, which could be painting, or which could be clay modeling, or writing, or anything else. So we have to find an alternative hobby for them, which can be done at home.
So this is probably the right time to inculcate an additional hobby or different creative interest, right?
To keep yourself busy, but you do not put a pressure on them that you have to have and you have to learn something new in this lockdown. So this is what we have so many social media WhatsApp forwards coming that what have you learned? I have learned this, I have learned that. So don't be in that
Exactly.
kind of pressure that so and so learns painting, so and so learn this, so and so, so I'm lagging behind. No, don't have that. Don't have that in your mind. That
Right.
should
So
not.
there's a different kind of competitiveness which is happening now. Okay, so, your daughter has done this and she has put up this picture and this drawing. So I have to make sure that, mine does something similar and so on and so forth. I think there's trend to competition in any angle.
Yes, yes. So do not pressurize your child. I mean, we cannot. I mean, there's so much of anxiety and so much of emotions which are going on. I mean, this is the last thing we should do. Put the competitive pressure on them, and that too only for a hobby. So I mean, I don't think if the child loves it, well and good. Ask them to do it. But otherwise, it's not. I mean, don't put the pressure on them.
Absolutely. So, one of our viewers has also asked one more question, that is it okay to share all facts of corona with the children? Like, is it safe to give out the actual numbers, the real danger of what the disease is? So, is it valid to kind of share such information with them to make them aware, or there has to be a barrier?
I think we should share everything about the disease which is happening. Getting them, telling them the numbers which are changing every day is not going to help them in any way, right? So it is much better that if we educate them about the disease, how it is spread, what coronavirus is, from where it came, how it's happened. Educate everything about the disease and the virus and everything. How to take precautions, how other countries are taking precautions, what they are doing. Talk to them about that, but telling them about the numbers, I don't think it is. I mean, the children are too sensitive to know that. But yes, do tell them that it is a dangerous disease and many people are dying. So you don't have to give them out a specific number, because the numbers are anyways changing every day. So that would be.
Absolutely. Mona, see, a lot of children are not able to show their stress very openly, right? So we know that the children are stressed about online assignments, about their classes, things to be done in a particular frame of time. But at the same time, they're not willing to talk about their emotions so openly. It's just that we see that they're withdrawn. We can, try and help them by engaging them in a conversation, prodding them. But what is their outlet? As adults, we still have our outlet. We are talking to our friends, say on video call, and we are discussing with each other. But how about them?
So let them also talk to their friends. I mean, I would actually suggest the parents that they should make it a point that every day the child talks to their friends. The children are talking to their friends, because now online classes doesn't help. Online classes, only the teacher is talking to the children. But other than after the online classes, the children should connect one-to-one with their friends. Not only their
So,
friends, children.
sorry to interrupt, Mona. One of the viewers is putting across a point that she wants a little bit of the conversation to be in Hindi because she's not understanding what we are talking. So if you can
No,
incorporate some points in Hindi as well.
no problem. Okay. So, yes, I was talking about, yes. So, बच्चों को अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ भी बात करनी चाहिए, बिकॉज if हम अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ बात कर रहे हैं, we are able to offload so many things. तो बच्चों को भी अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ बात करनी चाहिए, and make it a point that every day the children are talking to their friends. I mean, they have a few best friends about. I mean, they have 4-5 लोगों का ग्रुप होता है, तो किसी एक के साथ वो एक दिन रोज कनेक्ट करते हैं. And second point is, उसके अलावा, if the grandparents are not staying together in the same house, they are in a different city, the children should be encouraged to talk to their grandparents. Because, grandparents have their own way of making the children talk, getting out the
Exactly.
information from the children, soothing their emotions. The grandparents का अपना एक इक्वेशन होता है बच्चों के साथ. तो बच्चों को बात करनी चाहिए, रोज नहीं, एटलीस्ट एक दिन छोड़कर कर सकते हैं. एंड अपने कजिन्स हैं के साथ बात कर रहा है. It can be a video call, it can be a voice call. टेक्नोलॉजी आजकल तो, आई मीन, वी आर ब्लेस्ड विद टेक्नोलॉजी, तो हम टेक्नोलॉजी को अपने उससे यूज कर सकते हैं. बच्चे बात करें, आई मीन, एंड दे कैन ऑफलोड. अगर वो बात करेंगे तो वो अपनी जितने भी इमोशंस है, दे कैन डील देयर इमोशंस विद देयर पियर्स, देयर कजन्स, देयर ग्रैंडपेरेंट्स. उनके साथ उनके इमोशंस हील हो सकते.
I think a very, very valid point, Mona, because I see that, my daughter connects a lot better with her cousin when she is talking to her over the phone. And probably she expresses things which she normally wouldn't express to me. And it also makes her very, very happy. Probably that's her way of, connecting with the outside world. So it's a good opportunity to connect with the first cousins, maybe the distant ones and the extended family.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
really sweet. Okay, and Mona, now coming to the important point. So vacations are going to start now, and again, it's going to be a very different situation for the children this time around. So, how do we explain it to them that this time they're not going to be going anywhere? That's something which is a given. They all know. In fact, I will say children have adapted better, to the situation as compared to
Yes.
adults. But how do we kind of manage them in this kind of a different summer vacation when all of us have memories of us going to our nanny's house during the summer vacation and doing things which we were not allowed to do otherwise. Staying up late watching TV itself was like a big act of freedom at that time.
Right.
So we deal with a different summer vacation this time.
Right. So one thing would be, why don't you plan for your summer vacation? Sit with the child and say, when the situation becomes normal, when we are allowed to travel and it is safe to travel. So where would you like to go, and how would you like to plan? Search about pick up a place, where country or a place or a city where you would like to go, and why don't you research about the place? How would you go? Where would you like to visit? One could be that. The other could be, probably on the weekends when the parents are also, their office is not working. So they can, sit together, go through all the old memories, all the old photographs of their previous, every week you can take 1 year back. So, probably 2 years back, every weekend you can take one place. So you can revisit the place and the memories and whatever happened in the photographs. or in the, just recounting all the good times that you had. And it's a good idea probably if you went with your some other friends, a family of your friends, or your brothers and sisters, if you, whoever you went with, get them on a Zoom call and just talk. If everybody who went for a particular vacation, they can all meet together, see the photographs, talk about it. So that actually lifts you up. So one of the weekends probably you can keep for this kind of a situation where you can do this, fantasize about, not remember, think about the past. And one would be that, plan for the next vacation. Where would you like to go when this situation is safe to travel?
So it's like a virtual revisit of your previous vacations, reconnecting with everybody involved in the vacation and planning for the future one, right?
That would be a nice, recounting, and tell them about your stuff. When as children, we used to go for summer vacation, how our summer vacations used to be. So tell them about that. We used to do this. We used to hang out there, have the पेड़ से आम तोड़ते थे. Tell them so many stories we have of our childhood. So
true.
Do it.
But you know what, Mona? A lot of times these kids are not willing to listen to our stories also. They're like, हाँ, आपके time में तो ऐसा था, but now times are different. We are very different these days. So they're somehow not able to connect to our memories.
They're not able to. Actually, because their experiences are, very different. हम लोग आम तोड़ के खाते थे, उनको तो आम वहां से मिलता है. So they cannot connect. So if you cannot, that's okay. But you just like the other day, I was showing my daughters on Google Maps. I was showing my daughter the school where I went to the housing. So I actually showed them the school. I showed them the photographs. So they were interested for 10-15 minutes. After that, the interest just wore off. But at least
yes. I think the attention span of kids these days is very, very short. They lose interest very quickly.
Yes.
That's one major challenge.
Exposure to the screen time, The children have the handheld device in their hand. They don't like one thing, they swipe to the next. Don't like, 5 seconds and, they just get bored and they swipe to the left. So here also, the casting device would be a great idea, because once you cast something and take away the phone from the device from which it was cast. So then it is a procedure actually. You have to find the remote, find the phone, and then change the device, whatever program running. So too much exposure to this kind of screen time can causes this concentration, less concentration in children. So if we do it on the casting device, if it is on a big television, so then, this problem can be solved to some extent.
Right. Absolutely. So, Mona, there's also a slightly difficult question. So, given the fact that all children are brought up in a happy, secure environment, these things apply very well, right? But to some children who do not have a very secure environment, or say the parents are probably going through a separation, or it's a difficult situation for these children to be around their parents as well, where the families are not getting along very well with each other. So how do such children manage this entire time? It's slightly difficult.
Yes, it is difficult for the child, or yes, बच्चे की responsibility नहीं है. The parents have to understand that when they brought the child in this world, they both did it, right? It was their joint decision to get a child in this world. So now, if they are going through their own differences, it should not affect the child. That that kind of a wisdom has to come from the parents. That now, whatever differences we are having, the children should not get affected by that. बच्चों पे उसका कोई असर नहीं पड़ना चाहिए. हमारे differences हैं, so the parents will be very mature in handling this kind of a situation. So parents, and in this case, maybe in my book also, I have a case study which I've written. There was a small girl whose parents were probably not, they were having domestic conflicts in the house. And she somehow got an idea that the parents are going to separate. And she actually went into a lot of depression because of that. And a 6-year-old girl. She went into a lot of depression because of that. So, so this is the case study I've written in the book. So the only thing what I'm trying to say is that parents have to sit and talk to the child also. that here again the communication plays a very big part. Talk to the child that these things are not working, so we are trying to make it work, but there will be a lot of problems happening along the way. So how would you like to manage? How would you like to help us in managing that? And or how both of us, like from our own side separately, how we can make you happy, how we can do things for you. So we the parents have to sit with the child and talk to the child, and the parents have to be so mature that the interest of the children have to be kept first in their mind than their own interests, whatever is going
Absolutely. I think we should put our children first and we
on
should put
first.
them ahead of our domestic issues at this time. The main priority has to be their mental comfort. Okay, so we have another question, Mona, from one of our viewers about how to manage the energies of a young boy who's 8 years old and we are still not ready to send him for sports activities. So, given the fact the boy is 8 years old, obviously it's very difficult to channelize the energies of a boy more so as compared to a girl. So, how do we kind of manage this?
So tell the children, tell the child some activity that the child is very, help the child in the household chores, first and foremost thing. Help the child, and make it a play. Don't make it that you have to do this work. Make it like a play. See, let's see who will do this first. Probably if you are getting the watering the plants, let's see who will do it first. Whether I as a mom will do it or you can do it first. So make it a play for the child. The child will be more engaged in doing such kind of a work. So you can see according to your situation what you want the child to work on. The other would be like, there are so many gaming portals which are there. So you can put them instead of giving the child an iPad or a phone. So make it cast it on a big screen. And there are so many gaming portals which can actually make your child work quite a lot. You have, I'm forgetting the name of the portals, but yes, there are so many which can actually the stimulus. What is it called? I'm forgetting the name. The virtual reality games. What happened, right? So
You mean a connect?
yes, 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 yes. A connect kind of a thing. So that can probably
Okay.
keep the child very well occupied. The games are like really, if the child is playing tennis, it is actually like the child is playing tennis. So there the
Right.
energy is contained in
Right,
a
but
better
the
way.
Kinect is also very addictive, right? Because I've seen my nephew, with the Kinect, he's like literally inseparable. Once they start,
Yes.
there's no end.
So time limit for that, and
Mm.
time limit, and yes, the incentivize that if you watch it for more. I mean, if you help me in the household chores, so you got so many points, and you can redeem it for 1 hour or half an hour or 2 hours of the time on the Connect or the Xbox. So you can do it that way. So you have to model the child according to your situation, how you want, how many hours you are comfortable that your child can spend.
Okay. So probably online gaming for some time, a limited time,
Yes,
whatever is comfortable for the time being.
yes, yes.
Do you
And the
also
child
think,
will have the currency, right? The child will have the currency, the whatever
right?
incentives they got from doing the work. So they have only that much of currency to use. So if they run out of it, they have to do the household chores and then again do and go and play. So you have to maintain the balance that way.
So the point system is what needs to be inculcated. Earn
Yes.
points through household chores and exchange them in return for your Xbox gaming time. I think that's
Or,
a great, great thought.
or ice cream or whatever, sweet treat, a bag of chips, whatever, right? You can exchange them for that.
Absolutely. And do you think that a video call with, like-minded sports loving friends would also work? Like, say, they can form an online community and probably discuss, what new things.
Definitely. That's a good idea. Yes, definitely. Why not? So the children will be quite occupied. The only thing is probably, yeah, if the child is jumping on the bed, so you have to be careful jumping on the chairs or the bed. But other than, yes, why not? I mean, that's a very good idea. So that will keep them, what is happening new, and they will be very occupied.
Absolutely. And I think this whole aspect of, exchanging the points used in return for treats or for screen time is a great idea. And I think we should all inculcate that in the child's routine.
Yes,
And
yes.
so, do you think that a timetable would work with the children, or do you think that it's becoming a very strict enforced routine as such?
Timetable, I don't, personally believe in timetables. I mean, we should not structure the day of the child. So this
Mm-hmm.
is some time where, otherwise, I mean, when they were going to school, every hour of the day was structured, right? So now that they are at home, so we should just let them be, let them free, make them more independent. That you have to do these works, so it is up to you how you will do it. So I
Right.
mean, if we manage their days, have to do at 10 o'clock this, 11 o'clock this, 12 o'clock this, they will also get fed up with the kind of anxiety and the emotions they are dealing with. So I think it is a better idea that give them same again, the list comes that you have to do these works, you will be given points, do it at your own convenience, but they have to be done. So better
Great.
let them be, let them do not structure their day too much for them.
I think that's great, telling them that this is the task to be done during the day, and by so and
Yes,
so time complete the task, and the order goes to you. You can choose the order of things to follow.
exactly, exactly.
So, if any of our viewers have any more questions, please feel free to voice them, and then we shall conclude post that. And we would also like Mona to tell us about her book and how do we grab our copy. It's available on Amazon, I'm guessing that, right? And we can also download the online version, right?
Yes, it is available on Amazon and Flipkart, but because I think it's a non-essential item, so they are not delivering it right now. So, but Kindle,
Okay.
it's available on Kindle.
Okay. Okay. So we'll grab a copy on the Kindle as of now.
Yes,
And,
yes.
Mona, would you like to add
By the
some? Yes.
by the time we get more questions, I can show them my book. So this is the
Yes.
book that we're talking about, and it is already a bestseller on Amazon. And it integrates the practices of mindfulness and spirituality with the principles of parenting. So in this day and age, we need, spirituality and mindfulness in parenting also, because this is one thing where we think that we can talk anything to the child. We have that opinion that we can talk anything to the child, but how it goes and affects the children in what way we never know. So we have to be very mindful and very, spiritually inclined. So when we are talking to the child and raising them as a human being, responsible human being. So that is
Mona,
my
can
book.
you elaborate a bit on that? The spirituality aspect of inculcating, the spirituality
It's,
aspect while, yeah, talking to the kids. Yes.
in our normal olden days, pre when the India did not get so much westernized, spirituality was a very big part in the growing up, in the education life of our in the education life of our children. Spirituality was a very big part, but somewhere as the Western influence came over, these things went into the background. So spirituality is not, I'm not talking about the very meditation or some rituals or something like that. I'm talking about the very finer aspects of life, like having compassion, having empathy, being honest, being truth, having an honesty and integrity as your core values. This is the where we introduce our children, because to build a strong character we have to get the things like integrity, honesty, compassion, empathy in our children. We have to get the children, these things inculcated in them. Once the children are, they have these qualities in them, they will definitely, when they grow up, so their life will be actually very different, and they will come up with these qualities. The character of the child will be very different from what we see.
Absolutely. Mona, your book is meant for all age groups.
Yes, it is for all age groups. Yes. So
Okay.
this what I'm talking about in this book, it is from a toddler to a teenager, 18, 19, any age.
Okay. And Mona, can you also share your email ID in case if somebody wants to reach out to you or you want to give your Insta handle, your Facebook page, anything that you'd like to share?
So my Insta handle is Dr. Mona Gujral. Should I
Okay.
type it?
Yes, please.
Okay, Dr. Mona Gujral, and my Facebook page is Mona Gujral. And I have my YouTube channel also by the name of Dr. Mona Gujral. And my email ID would be monaguj@gmail.com. I'll just type everything.
Sure, sure. And
Any
Mona, do you think it's a good idea for the online shloka classes or some kind of a meditation classes that, in these times to keep the children a little engaged in the spiritual sense?
we can do that, but the thing is, the child, how the child is going to actually sit for a meditation with a person who's managing the child from a Zoom call. That is a little challenging for the situation.
Right.
That is little challenging, but yes, if the parents are doing it, if the parents are into mindfulness, if the parents are into spirituality or meditation, if the parents do it, so then definitely the children will copy it.
Absolutely.
Foray into spirituality was seeing my dad do all this. My dad used to meditate. So at the age of 6-year-old, when I was 6-year-old, I used to see him meditating, and I used to actually, sit with the meditation with him. So if the parents want, so if the parents are into it, the children will follow, definitely.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us also, what we follow today is a result of what we have seen in our childhood, our parents doing, the customs and practices that we are following.
Exactly.
So Mona, we'll wait for you to give your email ID. A lot of us are eager to receive your email ID. And I think it was a great session. We got some very, very useful tips today. Sure, Monica, you can address your question.
I think I posted my...
Okay. So Mona has shared her email ID. It's Mona, G-U-J, Mona Guj @gmail.com. And she already mentioned that her book is available on Kindle. And in case if you want to give out your Insta handle, Mona, did you mention your Mona Insta handle as well?
Yes, Insta handle, I'll just mention it.
Yeah. So Mona Gujral is her FB page.
Yes. Dr. Mona Gujral is the Insta handle.
Dr. Mona Gujral is the Insta handle. So we do have one question, which is how do we strike a balance between giving assistance to a 16-year-old and checking on her as well at the same time?
So, okay, giving up distance. So the thing is, here also I would say the communication with the child. So we need to have an honest and an open communication with the children. So, that you can do this as long as I know what you are up to, right? So I trust you. I'm giving you a phone. I'm giving you a phone. I'm giving you free access to the internet, but I trust you, and I would like to know what you're doing on the phone, and make it a habit initially, to randomly just take the child's phone and go through the history of the child in front of the child, not behind the child, in front of the child. So it should not be done, and nothing should be done behind the child. If we are not trusting our child, the child will never trust us, and the child will never tell us anything on upfront on the face. So just tell the child that I am checking it, so I can do these checks anytime. I can check these checks anytime. So I expect 100% transparency from your side, and I will also give you. If you if you don't give me a reason to check your phone, if you don't give me a reason to do this, I will never do it. I promise it to you. But if it happens, and then we will take away your liberties, whatever we have given it to you. So that सबसे पहले है, it has to be the communication from a very young age. The communication has to be so strong that the child comes up and tells you everything, whatever is happening in their life. The communication has to be very, very, very strong. And other than that, yes, I mean, you can tell the child that I will come and check your phone. I will come and take your iPad anytime and see what you're doing. So, but never behind you. Tell the child that I will never do it behind you. I will do it always in front of you, never behind your back. So these are some things, talk to the child that way, the children will understand that, okay, this is what my parents expect from me, and this is how I should be.
Right. So very, very valid points, Mona. It was a pleasure talking to you and pleasure addressing all the questions as well. Thank you, viewers, for being a great audience. And we shall be in touch. And you can be in touch with Mona over her email ID. She has shared her FB and Insta coordinates as well. So have a great weekend. And thank you, Mona, for all the inputs. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much, and thank you, audience. Such lovely questions, which, and
Right.
probably yes, the questions coming would help a larger audience as well. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.